Hello and welcome to Esports Vikings Weekly. My name is Teemu. A little bit of myself. I've been playing video games for about 20 years of my life. I used to stream a bit. In the internet, some people might know me with the name Aspartami from World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is the game I've played the most. Some Dota 2, Counter-Strike, a little bit of League of Legends, and all of that stuff. Which brings me to the man to my left, who might introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Janne, and me and Teemu, we know each other through World of Warcraft, and I used to also stream on Twitch, and besides that, my main interests have always been Counter-Strike and Dota 2, and I've been very, very involved in both of them for close to 20 years now, and that's what we're doing here. We will talk about those games, we'll talk about all the other games too, like League of Legends, Overwatch, StarCraft, and me and Teemu will guide you through it.
So this Esports Vikings, what we're gonna start doing is esports content for anyone and everyone, right? I think, well, this talk show in particular, today, this is the first episode, which is why it's a bit scrappy, you know, trying to get things in place, not so professional yet, but you know, probably we'll get there. Today we're just gonna talk a bit what we're gonna talk about in the future, right?
Yeah, I mean, we will talk about all the big upcoming events, all the big tournaments, and we'll usually do previews and discuss what's on our mind for the upcoming big events.
Yeah, at the moment there's not that much to talk about Counter-Strike because there's the Pro Break, right?
Yeah, Counter-Strike had an interesting year, but right now there's a player break and the next big thing is the majors, so we'll come to that when it's time, in about a month. Then we'll have a lot to discuss. I think there's one big thing coming up now, though, which both me and you are interested in.
Oh, yeah.
So soon we have the International coming up, and that's going to be an interesting time for both me and you.
I mean, Dota 2 TI is, for me personally, well, obviously for you too in this case, is the best time of the year when it comes to esports. I mean, that tournament is diamond.
It's by far the biggest of the year for me personally. I've been following it for soon 10 years, every year, and it's always an amazing experience, and I'm pretty sure this year is going to be at least as good as before, if not better. I think all the teams look really, really good, and there's some really big underdogs that have been shaping up the whole year, so we are in for a good time. I
mean, for sure. We watched majors lately together, we watched minors together. Yep. And, you know, it's been a long wait until August.
It has.
But soon we'll there.
We shouldn't talk too much about Dota 2, because in the next episode we'll have a full rundown of all the teams, of our favorites, the dark horses, the teams we don't even think gonna win, we're gonna talk about them too. And the whole episode is gonna be for the International, so
yeah, we'll leave it at that. Mind. Yeah, you read my mind, and we'll leave Dota 2 for now.
As a Finn, though, you should probably talk about what we have going on in StarCraft.
Right, because in Helsinki at the moment, in Finland, we have the Assembly, which is kind of like the, if someone doesn't know, it's the DreamHack of Finland, kind of, the summer event. And Asus ROG is hosting the StarCraft 2 tournament in Assembly. And it's actually, I think, the biggest one that we've ever seen in Finland. Obviously, Serral is there, the Finnish phenomenon, who's finally taken over the South Korean empire.
Well, 20 years of dominance is over, it's fair to say, and this tournament being in Finland is quite special for Serral as well, and it's really fun to see that the European scene is picking up, and this, you know, Europe hasn't been that into StarCraft actually for years, and ever since Serral actually came up, there's been a change and people are way more interested again. And we even see other players, like Finnish players in the tournament, doing well. Like, you know, there was one guy who won a game against Serral himself, and that's interesting to see. There might be a pickup, like, for the whole scene.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've never really cared about StarCraft beforehand. But once Serral started winning, you know, I kind of jumped in the bandwagon. And now, you know, I'm actually watching quite a lot of his games. Obviously, being Finn, I'm biased on the subject. But then again, esports in Finland is now blooming, thanks partly to Serral, to the success of the ENS Counter-Strike team. Obviously, Serral plays for ENS too. Then we have our TI winners, Jerax, Topson, Matumbaman. So it's just fantastic to see how the Finnish esports scene is kind of starting to bloom once again. And you know, yesterday actually I watched the game between Cyril and Innovation, and Cyril beat him 2-0. Innovation, he's a really good Terran player. But
definitely, and they have history since before as well. There's some really, really tough games in the past between the two, and Cyril actually picked him apart yesterday, so that's good to see. And we'll see in the playoffs, especially in Finland, if, well, maybe it's a little bit more, you know, nerve-wracking for Cyril to be on his home stage, or maybe it's the opposite. But
I don't know, like, when you think of Cyril, like, I don't mean this in a bad way, but when he's in an interview, it feels like, you know, he's sorry for being there. Like, he doesn't, it seems like he doesn't want to be in the spotlight, you know. He just wants to go there, you know, do his thing, win his games, lift the trophy, and you know, go home and play with his dog kind of thing. Like, he's really Finnish in the sense that, you know, it gets kind of like, I mean, he's opened up lately. Like, he's getting a lot better with the press and that kind of stuff, but I don't think he's the kind of person that takes pressure. Even like, I think he might be even playing better because he wants to show the world, like, in front of his home crowd.
yeah, I would say he hasn't showed any nerves this far. He's just there playing his game, and that's what he does. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely look at the playoffs, right?
Oh, for sure. It's really interesting. So, but besides StarCraft, obviously there's other games we're interested in as well. And how about League of Legends?
I mean, if you talk about esports, you can't leave League of Legends out, right?
No.
And for my part, unfortunately, because I'm a Dota 2 guy, I've never really followed League of Legends that much. I've played it a bit, you know, with friends and so on, but personally, I've always felt more attracted to Dota. I think it's the graphical thing, like the difference in the graphical aspect or something. But either way, League of Legends is returning to Europe for the World Finals in, I don't remember the date, but it's in November.
Yes, the playoffs start in October, I think, but they end in November in Paris. So, and
I'm actually thinking that I should go to Paris in person to see the World Finals live.
You wanna go?
Should we?
Sounds like a pretty good idea to me. I mean, it's gonna be an amazing tournament, like it always is. And I'm a Dota 2 guy as well, but I've been watching way more League of Legends this year, and I'm getting into it. And should we put it like this? We have some future plans, and we might have something upcoming for League of Legends as well.
That's a good way to put it. We might have some plans, and we might have something upcoming for League of Legends.
Yeah.
But
there's a few other games that might be in that category. Fortnite could be one of them.
Yeah, that's big.
It's a pretty big game right now, I hear. So
what, 200 million players?
Yeah, I heard 250 last month, but
what?
Who knows?
So it's gone up.
It's gone up. They had a pretty big tournament too. You know, $30 million is pretty good. So it's the first big tournament they have. I'm actually really interested to see what they do for next year, because they've been talking about the next championship series, and they probably learned a lot since this year, and it's going to be really interesting to see where they go, because it's actually hard to see them, you know, taking another step. But everything's possible, and they have the means to do it. So I think Fortnite has a good future for sure. So it's going to be interesting.
It's hard to argue against that, you know, because it's really appealing for especially the younger audience.
Yeah.
And I think, like, in that sense, Fortnite is maybe stepping stone is not the correct term, but it's a really nice way to introduce esports to the younger generations. And, you know, just to point out about the Worlds that were just played a week or two ago, the solo finals was won by a 16-year-old kid. He won $3 million as a 16-year-old playing video games. Like, that's ridiculous.
It is, but I think the biggest part that is, you know, the good side for esports is that Fortnite is such a big game, and it is such big reach that it's, you know, everybody's talking about it right now. And I think it's good that people get a real picture of what esports is, instead of, you know, having these thoughts about it beforehand, but now actually people get some insight to what it is. And before, I mean, going back myself, I've been a part of esports for a long time, and if we talk about Dota 2 and CSGO, they're big games, but they don't really reach out to people the same way like Fortnite does. And honestly, it doesn't really matter if you like Fortnite or not. It's good for everybody. If you're interested in esports, you should support it because it helps everybody, and that's just how it goes. So
I have to second that opinion because, like, personally, I don't like the idea of battle royales because there's a chance that like RNG eliminates the best player, but apparently that's the beauty of it.
I mean, it's of course there's random elements, but so is there in any game, and I think in the future they might change the format a bit for the tournaments, that they are longer, there's more games, it's gonna be more fair. Right now the World Cup was, you know, it was like a one-day event for the solo and duo, and it's not really enough to eliminate the randomness of it, but in the future I think that's going to be better. So yeah, we'll see. The future is exciting for Fortnite, that's for sure.
Yeah, one last mention from my side to Fortnite is that they just released a new patch and they brought these mechanical robots.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep, that was my like.
Well, I'll have to watch it later today.
Yeah. But moving on from Fortnite and other stuff, there's a couple other games that interest us, but there isn't really anything big going on right at the moment. So
I think for me, Hearthstone, Overwatch are games I watch them, I'm interested in them, I even play them myself at times, and we'll talk about them in the future, but right now there's not much to say now.
Yeah, and one more that we haven't mentioned is PUBG.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it's PUBG is out there, you know, we know it exists, but there was a tournament in Sweden past weekend or a couple weeks past, there was a tournament in Sweden. But yeah, we'll get to those in the future.
We will. And like I said, next week we'll have a big one on TI9, and that's going to be the tournament of the year personally. And we'll go through that next time. But in the future, we'll cover all of these games when it's relevant, when there's big tournaments coming, and we'll be here.
Yeah, and also in the future we might have some other guests joining us here, you know, whenever that's possible, and someone's crazy enough to join us.
Yeah, hopefully.
Like Janne mentioned a few times before, we have something really, really, really cool coming up. You might need to wait for a bit, but if you stick with us, follow our YouTube channel, you see the first couple weeks of our episodes, and then we might have something really fun coming.
Yes, and on that point, I think we have something pretty cool planned for TI as well, and we'll show you. Yeah. Maybe we'll go through a little bit of it next week in next week's episode, and it's exciting times ahead.
Yeah, I think this is it for the first Esports Vikings Weekly.
I think so.
This is really exciting for me. I'm really happy about this.
It's the same for me. I mean, I'm super pumped to get our content out there, and it's gonna be a pleasure to watch, you know, people finally getting their hands on it, because we've been working hard and we really, really want to provide people something good here, and hopefully people get excited.
Yeah.
They, you know, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah. I mean, obviously this is the first episode, so we're a bit stiff. You know, it's gonna get better with time. But I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this. The next episode will come out in a week. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you then. Ciao.